Okay, what's up, Otaku Tour Guide here. Thank you for joining me, my fellow geeks and nerds. In Japanese, we say otaku. And yeah, this is a great, battle as well. I just want to take you through my bracket. Today's matchup is G.I. Joe 21 versus Man of Steel #1. It's a 2 versus 5 matchup. And let's go right to the comics. Here we go. Now, every chance I get to show off this comic here, this is my favorite comic of all time. It's the famous G.I. Joe 21, the silent issue. Now, this was written and penciled by the legend himself, Larry Hama. And, Larry Hama is a Japanese-American comic book legend. He's still writing and putting out content even to this day. And I believe he's like in his 80s, I'm sure, 70s or 80s. He's really up there in age, but still working and hitting the conventions, signing books, and just being an overall wonderful creator. He's one of my favorites. And so I have a signed copy of a G.I. Joe comic, Storm Shadow comic, and I just had to have this in my collection. Now, I had this as a kid. I read the crap out of it. It was just my favorite comic book of all time. And so, in terms of who wins this matchup, I think it'll be pretty obvious, but let's go over each comic here first. Let's start with the Man of Steel. Now, this is a 6-issue limited run, 6-issue miniseries by John Byrne. He wrote and also drew this miniseries. And what's interesting or significant about this book is that this is the first marketed variant cover in comic book history. So if you don't have this book, I would go out and get it. It's a significant book in terms of where the comic book hobby is today, with all the variant covers and all the different limited runs and whatnot. Obviously, you have variant covers that precede this that are just, either misprints or, different. Some people think newsstand and direct editions, even though they're the same copy, because of that varying UPC symbol, that those are variant covers as well. And I would disagree. They're essentially the same comic, but just different print runs of distribution methods. And so when you talk about actual covers that vary and they're marketed as a variant cover, this is the first. So very significant in terms of its, in terms of its significance in history, comic book history. It's a great cover by John Byrne. It's just, Clark Kent kind of ripping over that shirt and showing off that S on his chest. So yeah, I think it's a great cover, but I got to give this victory. We're just gonna call it right here. This is a KO for sure. This cover is just amazing, and I love the copy that I got. It's a high grade copy. I am going to get this graded, and I'm hoping it comes back a 9.0. We'll have to see what kind of grade it gets, but it's a newsstand edition. The first print of G.I. Joe 21. This is not going anywhere. This will stay in my collection. I'm gonna, die with this comic in my hand, basically. Again, I mentioned it's my favorite, and the reason it's my favorite is because it is just a great issue. And so what I want to do is I want to share with you some panels from this amazing story. So if you haven't read it, I am not going to ruin it for you. I'm going to let you go and try to get a copy of it, or maybe read it, a digital version. But I am going to show you some of the images that you'll see in the book. So this is just a page. The reason they call this a silent issue is because, as you know, Snake Eyes is mute. He lost his voice, or had his voice larynx damaged during the Vietnam War, and he lost his voice saving Tommy, who is his wartime buddy, and that buddy ends up being Storm Shadow. And so this issue, this is sort of a typical page you'd see. No word bubbles, no dialogue, just all visual panels. And there's, words printed on it. Like, for example, you see the word printed here, grenade. You'll see words, but there's no dialogue. There's no actual, I don't think there are even sound. There's nothing that indicates sound as well. It's just completely silent. You'll see words on a computer scene. You'll see words here like on their grenade, but that's it. No dialogue, no nothing. So all the panels are just these beautifully sort of individually crafted panels that move the story along and tell this great story. This is the last panel, and as you can see, it reveals this red tattoo that Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow share. Now, the origin story of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, for that, well, I shouldn't say Storm Shadow. It's not Storm Shadow's origin story, but Storm Shadow is a very big part of Snake Eyes' origin story. And for those of you that don't know, they were war buddies, and they had sort of a falling out over the death of their mutual ninja master, sensei. And anyway, Storm Shadow blames he thinks Snake Eyes killed his master, and so there's this sort of rivalry, or I guess not rivalry, but basically misunderstanding that leads to them becoming enemies. And this is a great panel here. Just kind of, when you read this as a kid, you're just like, wow. And then they leave you with that cliffhanger that, oh, how are they connected? And you find out later how they're connected in the origin story, which is, I believe, 26 and 27 of G.I. Joe. But yeah, I just can't say enough about this comic book. Larry Hama created these characters. We saw them on the television screen in the form of cartoons. We bought all the toys, and man, did they introduce a lot of characters and a lot of toys. And there were several iterations of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. I remember, this original Snake Eyes was cool, but when they launched the toy of him with the swords and Timber, that toy he just looked like this cool badass ninja. And then of course they launched Storm Shadow. He went from this white costume into a camouflage where he had this cool bow and arrow as the accessories. So like both characters were popular and got upgrades in the toys, and just it was just cool to play with those toys as a kid. So yeah, a lot of nostalgia around this issue. Obviously, I was a big fan of G.I. Joe, and I was a big fan of Larry Hama, and I am still a big fan of Larry Hama, because he eventually started writing Wolverine and wrote a lot of different comic books for Marvel over the years. And so yeah, this is our choice for the Victor. Let me know what your choice is. Maybe it's the variant cover, the first variant cover in comics history, or the silent issue. Make your vote known in the comments. You can also vote on Instagram. I usually put the matchup in my story, and you can vote there on my Instagram as well. But I'm going to tabulate all the votes. But for now, G.I. Joe 21 is the front runner and the winner of this comic book battle. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you get a chance, and we'll see you in our next video.